position in the Iranian scene?
I'm on the outskirts of Iranian cinema. I'm on the periphery, I think. Yeah, yeah. I mean, people describe my filmmaking as art filmmaking. I don't agree with that label, but that immediately puts you on the sidelines, which is fine. I'm happy with the place I am.
There are three main figures playing in your film. One is the person who is driving together with you. One is the, in fact, absent mother who is just in the off. You're talking to her from time to time. And one is the dead, in fact, female body, the infant who is dead. There are three figures playing. And rather than these three figures, there is no other female figure to see in that film. What's the reason?
I never discuss the meaning of anything that I do because most of the time the meanings of the things I do are completely unknown to me myself. These are sort of poetic meanings. It's something I thought I should do because it seemed right at the time when I was writing it. And it seemed like the kind of thing that would engage the audience in precisely the same way that you're talking about. So there's no specific meaning in my mind. It's a question that I pose to the audience.
You have been living and studying in Canada.
No, I studied in Canada for a while, but I live in Iran.
You're living in Iran. And the question of any intercultural streaming, any intercultural effects in the whole work, if there is any kind of intercultural effect, what could it be in your film?
My life doesn't take place in a country. My life takes place in the world. And in the 21st century, obviously, it's I'm affected as much by cultural waves from all over the world through the internet, through all kinds of media, through the films I see, through the books I read. And so quite naturally I'm affected by not just what happens to me within the borders of my own country, but what happens in the world all the time. Therefore, it's quite natural to be influenced by all kinds of different and diverse influences from everywhere. And I don't really believe that borders really mean that much to artists anymore. I really do believe that globalization has changed the artists so much that we are sort of responding to all kinds of stimuli from all over the world.
Would you believe you could make the same kind of film regarding the role of women in Canada?
Different countries have different cultural policies. They also have different kinds of audiences. We are mainly dealing with cultural policies in Iran and making our films mainly for Iranian audiences. So that's the kind of thing that would restrict, and not restrict, just shape the kind of my imagination in a particular way, right? So if I was living in Canada and working in Canada, I assume that I would be affected by, even though, as I said, you're affected by all kinds of things in the world, but you're making your cultural object for a particular group of people, primarily, in my case, primarily for Iranians. So, you think about your audience and you shape your imagination to suit them. When we were writing this, the strategy for writing the film was to guess what the audience was going to think or guess about us and find some way to undermine that preconception. So we thought, they're probably going to think we're married, so we should make a scene where I claim that she's my sister. They're probably going to think that it's our own money, so we're going to put a scene there where it seems like it's somebody else's money. So the whole idea is to sort of I think Americans call it a curveball. It's a baseball metaphor. You throw something at the audience that they think is going to come in one direction, but it ends up coming from another direction.
Do you think that the Iranian audience is a diverse audience, in fact, or open for other cultures? Do they understand you if you make streaming from other cultures into your film?
Sure. Yeah. Those members of the audience, I mean, people who would even come to see my film, people who are interested, are already, a sort of a very small group of cultured individuals, right? I mean, I'm not dealing with, the entire country. The percentage of Iranian people who actually go to the cinema, if you think about the whole country, is minute. It's very small. And so the people who are already coming to see my film are already, belong to a certain kind of group who are very well versed in all kinds of cultural, tendencies. And so yeah, they're as literate about culture as people here.
We have been able to kind of reach a very good understanding level between each other.
I don't think of my audience in these terms. That's the reason why I haven't thought about it, is because I don't think about female audience as male audience, as wealthy audience, as poor audience. I just don't think of that. I think of much general. I have more general terms in which I would think about it. So I don't think I have a problem with the question. Is what I'm saying. Is that, who knows? Some women would love it. Some people would hate it. There's nothing about being a woman specifically that would change their mind or shape their thinking about the film. Surely. Any film, really. I'm very much influenced by the work of Kiarostami. And in fact, not only am I influenced, I'm actually quoting certain specific images or specific thoughts from his films. The black SUV driving in the mountains, the phone that doesn't get connection unless you stand on top of a hill. These are specific references to, obviously, that's what I mean by being well versed in cinema, right? These are sort of ironic references to the master, you know what I mean? So they're both an homage and an ironic kind of joke with him. And not just him, lots of other. I mean, this film is sort of an encyclopedia of references to all kinds of Iranian filmmakers.